The gunman behind the shooting rampage near a Northern California school was out on bail charged with stabbing a neighbor. Others had complained about him firing hundreds of rounds from his house, and he had been the subject of a domestic violence call the day before the attack. Yet Kevin Neal was free and able to use a semi-automatic rifle and 2 handguns Tuesday to shoot 14 people, killing 4 in 7 different locations across his rural community in Tehama County, including an elementary school, before he died in a shootout with police. It's not yet clear what the terms of Neal's bail were, and whether he would have been allowed to possess and fire the weapons on his property at the end of a dirt road in Rancho Tehama Reserve. Nor did sheriff's officials give details on the domestic violence call. What we don't know about NorCal school shooting, but his many contacts with authorities raised questions of why he was out of custody and able to go on the 45-minute rampage that began with the killing of 2 neighbors in an apparent act of revenge before he went looking for random victims. mediaosvideo align equals embedId equals 5C2F 393A-988F 4ed 3BAFCC 44221B52A 27. mediaId equals dB 504,539 CB 16 to 4 decibels 8 to 978 E0 AP 7 EDB 9 CAD 4 size equals. mediaosvideo. Cristal Caravez and her father live across a ravine from the roadway where the gunman and his first victims lived. She said they and others heard constant gunfire from the area of the gunman's house, but couldn't say for sure it was him firing. You could hear the yelling. He'd go off the hinges, she said. The shooting, it would be during the day, during the night. I mean, it didn't matter. She and her father, who is president of the Homeowners Association, said neighbors would complain to the sheriff's department, which referred the complaints back to the Homeowners Association. mediaosvideo align equals embedId equals 043F98C2-5D4C 41E9BC775906570085D9. mediaId equals 7F5FB600D58B45B580C3 to 2Fe1F9108029 size equals. mediaosvideo. The sheriff wouldn't do anything about it, said Caravez, the gunman's sister. Sheridan said her brother had struggled with mental illness throughout his life and at times had a violent temper. She said Neal had no business owning firearms. Tehama County Assistant Sheriff Phil Johnston said the shooter was facing charges of assaulting one of the feuding neighbors in January and that she had a restraining order against him. Johnston did not comment on the shooter's access to firearms. Johnston declined to identify the shooter until his relatives were notified, but he confirmed the gunman was charged with assault in January and had a restraining order placed against him. The district attorney, Greg Cohen, told the Sacramento Bee he is prosecuting a man named Kevin Neal in that case. mediaosvideo align equals embedId equals A82DD9AD825-4E33B0E2-51B4D86B8A6. mediaId equals 1303 ECEDFD20-4072 A0B5-23915 B3D2E6 size equals. mediaosvideo. Neal's mother told the Associated Press her son, who is a marijuana grower, was in a long-running dispute with neighbors he believed were cooking methamphetamine. The mother, who spoke on condition she be named only as Ann because she fears for her Sophie, lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, where she raised Neal. She said she posted his $160,000 bail and spent $10,000 on a lawyer after he was arrested in January for stabbing a neighbor. Neal's mother said the neighbor was slightly cut after Neal grabbed a steak knife out of the hand of the neighbor who was threatening him with it. She wept as she told the Associated Press she spoke to Neal on the phone on Monday. "Mom, it's all over now," she said. He told her, "I have done everything I could do and I am fighting against everyone who lives in this area." She said Neal apologized to her during their brief conversation. She thought for all the money she had spent on him, saying he was on a cliff and the people around him were trying to execute him. "I think the motive of getting even with his neighbors, and when it went that far, he just went on a rampage," Johnston said. Police said surveillance video shows the shooter unsuccessfully trying to enter a nearby elementary school after quick-thinking staff members unlocked the outside doors and barricaded themselves inside when they heard gunshots. Johnston said the gunman spent about 6 minutes shooting into Rancho Tehama Elementary School before driving off to continue shooting elsewhere. Johnston said one student was shot but is expected to survive. He said the 45-minute rampage ended when a patrol car rammed the stolen vehicle the shooter was driving and killed him in a shootout. Johnston said officials received multiple 911 calls about gunfire at an intersection of two dirt roads. Minutes later, more calls reporting shots flooded in from different locations, including the school. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots and children screaming at the school, which has one class of students from kindergarten through 5th grade. The shootings occurred in the rural community of Rancho Tehama Reserve, a homeowners association in a sparsely populated area of rolling oak woodlands dotted with grazing cattle about 130 miles north of Sacramento. Many there live in poverty, but others are better off. "It's not a bad community at all," said Harry Garcia, who was minding his parents' convenience store La Fortuna Market. "Some people keep their properties nice, some don't. They rough it out here. Some go with minimum stuff. Some don't even have power out here." Quote.